Everybody, welcome to 9 o'clock live number 318 at the Noun Square with Jdagogo, here to talk to us about Nouns X Warped. Super excited to hear from you, JD, all about your prop. But first, of course, we have some business to take care of every single day, and that is
How
to
about
use
that
the next
warp
noun of the
music?
day. So we got to do that first. What's that, JD?
How about that warped music?
How about that warped music? Or was that Coachella 2023 music? It's hard to tell. Could
Yeah,
be either.
exactly.
Could be either. Could be both. Welcome to 9 o'clock live. Tell you what, you guys can go to a new site today. How about that? How easy is this to remember? Please ignore my son screaming in the background. How easy is this to remember? Noun o'clock live. Noun o'clock.live. I don't even know my own website. Noun o'clock.live. Check it out. Same site, new name. Try to make it easy for people to find it when we're here on 9 o'clock live. Yeah, so Cardno, what do we got up for auction today? Cardno, are you there?
Cardo.
Software, you love to
Okay,
talk
I'll
about the
talk. We've
nouns.
got a lovely piano. We've got a pie piano, and I'm trying to wake up a zebra because he just got outbid.
Just got out of bed. He did want
So,
that.
but
He did say he wanted it in the Discord. So
he's sleepy though. I think he's still sleeping, so he might miss it. But I did try to awaken a zebra. But it is a fabulous noun, I have to say. I'm surprised it's going for this low.
yeah, we did a pretty good job picking it, I have to say so. Someone also mentioned, so obviously we called it the piano yesterday, which is a great name, if I do say so myself. But someone also mentioned on Twitter that it kind of looks like a bench. Like the pie actually looks like a little bench for the piano, which makes it just even more, in my opinion.
Ooh, I didn't even think of that. You're right. It does. Ooh, that's
Little
cool.
piano bench. This is maybe one of the most aesthetic nouns I've seen. Welcome up, Toshi. Coachella Toshi, what's up?
Hi guys, I just ended the live stream like 40 minutes ago, but it was really awesome. And we basically streamed 36 of the video entries for the Enter the Nouniverse contest and like watched all the videos together. So
That's
if you guys
amazing.
missed that, I just tweeted that link.
I want to hear from you about what the best ones were and what people thought. Maybe we'll come back to you in a few, but it does look like this piano. Yep, is going to go for 25.33 ETH. So it's time to choose a new noun via a little thing called Janky FOMO, which means you need to yell at me if you see a noun you like at nounoclock.live on the left side of your screen, like this. Oh shoot!
Oh, that's
I don't have it. I don't have it up yet. I don't have it up yet.
He wasn't ready. We wasn't ready.
Oh man, I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready for that shark.
But that was a really good. You're lucky.
That was a really good shark.
I'm
really glad that Joshua Fisher's not here because he would not have ever forgiven me for that. If he watches this back, I'm really sorry, Joshua. I just wasn't ready. I was not ready.
We'll have to Nomo it. We'll have to Nomo that one. It was beautiful.
All right, I'm going to move my son into another room because he's very fussy. Can somebody else talk about the nouns coming down the blockchain for a moment while I do that? BRB.
Sure.
We'll talk amongst ourselves.
Mustard. I mean, we can talk about them, but you're not gonna we're not gonna be able to sell.
We can talk about how good they are, then just be like, bye.
We can talk about how many things we're gonna miss. Ooh,
yeah, that's quite nice.
French fry. Yeah. Oh my god, Nomo's gonna be fabulous. I mean, it's gonna be a battle.
That's a really nice one. I think I might be going for that so far. Ooh. That's my favorite. I like him over the shark actually.
This is a nice ape though too. We got a weighty ape. It's an oni with a waiter on his neck.
Yeah.
There's so much to say about that.
Oh dear, that's great.
A nice crown. That's a business queen if I ever saw one.
The good ones are flying through.
I know, this is so bad.
Okay, any good ones?
So good. Okay, I hate this one.
What did I miss?
Yeah, like 7 good ones.
You missed it. There's been quite a few good ones.
There's been a lot of good ones, I gotta tell you.
Were they good though, or were they just...
No, they were good.
Oh, it's another nice shark.
Well,
disco shark.
You know the good thing about missing some good nouns? There is a silver lining there.
Yeah. We are going to have an amazing Nomo.
Amazing.
It's going to be
Nomo lineup. I bet Al would like this one. Illuminati microwave.
I think he would. I can see him liking this. Yes. See what I did there?
Ah,
no? Okay.
we could all see. We could all see him. By the way, if you're just joining us, please retweet that room. Make sure we get people in here, max people in here to play with us, to get the next noun of the day, to mint the next Nomo, and chat with Mr. JD here. We need your help to retweet the room, and we're going to repay you for your efforts. Potentially, as one winner, one lucky retweeter will win 0.069 ETH at the end of the race.
Oh, I like this toothbrush.
Yeah, I like it as well, but too late.
Infinity. This is brushing your teeth forever.
I don't like
infinite fresh breath.
I'm very picky now. Like if that had a green shirt, then we could talk. But you know. Hello, cash register. I don't think we like that one.
I like that. It's kind of
Gradient
cute.
cow.
Oh, it's a nice cow. Gradient cow. Sunset cow.
Yeah.
Might look good on a.
It's not bad. It's that's gonna make
beans.
a killer. That's gonna make a killer Nomo though if it's on the yellow background.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Have you ever tried a weed grenade?
It's a.
Oh man, knocks you out.
I have
knocks
not.
you out for
Holy
hours.
grenade
Knocks
weed?
you out for hours.
I hear that's a new strain. Yeah.
Weed grenade. It probably is actually.
Okay, Oni's all over this today. That's a second one.
Maybe he wants a second ape for his prop that's up right now. Ooh, that is a
ooh. Do we have an
interesting flower?
Nice Murakami.
We do need to get that graphic.
Did we finally get one?
We need to get the graphic of the six or seven heads that still haven't been minted, and get that so we can start pinning it. Because I do think that would be a worthy goal for the next month, is just to try to complete the collection. That'd be a fun thing to be able to say, that we completed the collection. It might not even be possible, but we can try. Ooh, this is almost as good as yesterday's drill that went to the Nounders.
Retainer drill. The Nounders drill was nice. That was a good pickup. I like
the Nounders drill, if you missed it yesterday, had matching noggles, so it was kind of cool that way. Mr. Woody, what's up?
Yo, what heads do we not have minted? I saw a cherry earlier that was really cool.
Do we have the cherry? I don't know.
Cherry or not.
That cherry was nice too.
I feel like this is information that Prof Worder should have, but apparently she did not have.
I really should, and I feel like now I'm feeling, like I'm not living up to my name here. I really need to figure this out.
Ooh, Nouns is the CC0 king. That's pretty good. By the way,
all right, we're gonna mint the next like 3. One of these 3 is gonna be really good.
Oh, that's a nice too. But my brother's not ready. He wants a tooth when he's ready to buy it.
Is he a dentist?
Yeah, he's an endodontist, and my dad was a dentist too.
Oh, that's a pretty clean noun. What do you think?
Yeah, that's quite nice.
Ooh, that's a nice move.
You guys gotta take the janky part a little bit more seriously. I'm waiting.
Yeah, we're sort of like monotone responses. Yeah, it's okay.
It's not because nothing's jumping out.
Nice moon.
Nothing's jumping out.
I mean, I was just thinking it was kind of like a nice opposite noun to like. Oh, you know what? I'm going party. I'm going party capybara.
Disco. I like disco.
I don't think.
Yeah, I like that one.
I mean, I like capybara. It just looks like he's dancing on the dance floor. I don't know. I went for it.
I like it.
Yeah, we can go with that.
All right, but wait till you see the nouns that are in Nomo.
I think that's a pretty good one.
Now you'll get why we were yelling earlier. There were some good ones. Ooh, that's a nice drill.
Why
did
Nomo not start for me? Did Nomo start for you?
Nope.
There we go.
Yeah.
Here we go.
It was just a little bit delayed, but we're all good. So now time to play Nomo nouns.
Look at that. Look at those cherries,
Nomo
man.
noun. Whoa.
Oh my goodness.
Woody, try to keep it PG, please. This is a family show. You could do the cherries. You could do the super aesthetic shark, which I'm sure Joshua Fisher would Definitely appreciate. Nice. Unfortunately, the cow just missed out on greatness by being on a red background instead of a yellow one. It would have been a floating cow head. We got the king of nouns. We've got the king of CC0, rather. We've got the clean moon. Lots of options. Choose your character. Connect to play, because if you don't connect, then you don't.
That vending machine is pretty nice.
If you don't connect, then you don't matter. So,
yeah,
let's play.
It pops the vending machine.
You don't matter.
Cherry.
But I love that shark.
Speaking of popping,
I do like the toothbrush.
I like to do this thing in the first round where I just save a bunch that I think are cool before I hone in on my champion.
Same.
Yeah.
You have to be careful. Sometimes you can lose it.
But that cherry's nice.
What about this Petruchio King as well? Pretty good. Petruchio
Cherry.
I wasn't thinking about that. Josh Fisher, I'm trying to save this shark for you when you listen back to this, which you'll never do.
The vending machine's gonna die.
We don't need another shark.
No!
We don't need another shark.
The vending machine's gonna.
Pop goes the pumpkin. Super aesthetic shark. Floating cherries.
I think we know who's hit.
Oh no, that is the drill.
I am picking.
My pumpkin.
Goodbye. These are the final two of floating robot cherries and super aesthetic shark. Who's it gonna be?
If you're not doing cherries, I'm unfollowing you on Twitter.
I'm gonna go half. Shark. Cherry.
All right, I'm switching to cherry. I'm going back and forth.
Yeah, shark.
Like but I do like the shark. The shark is pretty good. I don't know. I can't decide.
Cherries go.
Look at those cherries.
Who switched teams midway there? That was crazy.
I switched backwards and forwards 3 times on those two.
Yo,
there's some nice cherries.
I had a cherry head minted as a noun. Like, I could be wrong, but I haven't really seen the cherry head a lot at all.
You might be right. I mean, Joshua Fisher's definitely going to kill us. We didn't. First of all, we missed that as a noun, and then we also just didn't mint it.
He doesn't need to know.
Yeah, what Joshua Fisher doesn't know can't hurt him.
Oh, he's going to know.
Great job.
There's Nomo.
Great job, everybody.
Like
oh, yeah, Nomo.
The next one. we need to get that shot.
The poor Nomos that still didn't get picked to be the Nomo of the day, so they're like not even the second best noun of the day.
We could call it like Nomo Shelter, something like that.
Yeah, don't ever say poor and then Nomo in that word order ever again.
Poor Nomo? Oh, okay. I see what you did there. I see what I did there. Yeah, definitely don't want to get pornomo.com. That's for sure.
All right, it took me a minute.
That's probably taken.
It definitely took me a minute.
Because it's porn.
No. All right.
I just want to take a second to appreciate that capybara a little bit longer because we jumped straight into Nomo. That is an amazing noun. So
thank you, sir. I was not getting very much feedback on my janky FOMO today, but I decided to snipe it.
I showed up right on capybara.
I disagree. We gave you lots of feedback, but you had left the room.
Oh, so you only gave me feedback when I wasn't here.
Tons of feedback, like get that shark, things like that.
All right. Well, was the cherry one of them that you meant to mint? Because
I believe that Woody had said something about the cherry.
You got a chance to mint it under Nomo, and you did so. So, as Woody is famously quoted as saying, just look at the cherries on that one. I think that's what you said, wasn't it, Woody? Am I quoting you correctly?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So Nomo now, 692. If you would like to mint this to help us keep doing what we're doing here and become less reliant on DAO funding to do it, Nomo Nouns is an easy way you can do it. You can mint for 0.0069 ETH. That's 2 zeros. It's like $13 USD. Pretty cheap for an NFT. Much cheaper than the noun of the day, that's for sure. Typically goes for 25, 26, 27 ETH. So like 50 grand USD. A little disparity there. We try to give a little bit of quote-unquote utility to our Nomo as well by giving you access to our Nomo zone in the TNS Discord, where Symbiotech has always posting some mints and some news from around the NFT space. So that's always a good additional benefit for being a Nomo holder. Also, you get entered into our daily draw, We do a daily draw. One lucky Nomo minter from yesterday just wins one of the NFTs from our Nomo vault. We've got lots of Nounish NFTs and open editions that you might have missed when they went to mint, but we've got some in our Nomo vault, and you have a chance to potentially grab one in the daily Nomo draw. So that's coming up a little bit later on the show. That concludes our business for the day, our responsibilities for the day. We've minted a new noun, this party capybara on the dance floor. We've minted a new Nomo noun, saved it from the depths of noun purgatory and brought it into the world of Nomo nouns. I think that's it, right? So now we can just get right into our conversation with JD, I believe.
Excellent. Excellent. You know what I'm excited about?
What are you excited for, JD? Tell us.
I'm excited that Emily reached out to me to say what a big fan she is of my prop. And is joining us, is in this space right with us. So thank you, Emily.
Nice.
And can't wait to talk to you more. And I'm also excited that I know this is going to seem like it was planned, but it was not, that Avenged Sevenfold and Matt Shadows and Matt Sanders put out a tweet about how excited they are about this prop. And in less than an hour, we'll be hitting 350 likes, 37 retweets. And I would bet you that a lot of those people
are not crypto
links
people.
To the nouns did not are
not crypto people.
What'd you say? Well, you know what? This is the thing, and this and that kind of gets to the core of my prop, which is about lighting a fire and together creating a movement. I mean, it's really about taking everything that's good with the nouns and writing the playbook for how to bring a new community to the nouns and rolling up our sleeves, the day after this passes and running it this hard. It'll be tough. We'll have to. There was a story out in CoinDesk today about how hard Web3 onboarding is, but we've got to do it. And so I think that we have a really special community to do it with. And, if Nouns is an experiment in a community powered by the blockchain, then WarpedWorld is an experiment in radical reinvention. So we know how much people love Warped. And so I think it's the perfect community to do this with.
Awesome.
So
let's take a pause for a quick second, JD. So we got a chance to chat with you yesterday about your prop on the Agora space. It was great. 4156 was here. It was a great conversation. If you missed it, you may want to listen back to that. But for people who weren't here, who may not have read your prop, can you give us a quick synopsis of what you're hoping to do if you get funded?
Sure. So WarpedWorld, Nouns Get Warped, is all about bringing new audiences to the nouns and taking everything that the nouns have done right over the last couple of years and everything that's been learned and a community of builders and applying those learnings to other communities and learning how to bring other communities, starting with Warped. And starting with Warped, though, also means that I have to go out and educate and evangelize and bring people into the nouns party. Perfect example is Vans. So the first phase of Nouns Get Warped and WarpedWorld is a series of in real life events. And I would like to do those events with Vans in some cases. That means that Vans and their House of Vans and their Warp sponsorship would be a great partner. And I won't lie. I have a dream, and that is that we do with Vans, and I think it's in their DNA to do it, a Vans Nouns shoe at some point. I think it could be super fun.
That would be awesome.
I think that Vans.
Are you taking pre-orders?
It's a dream. It's a dream right now, but my dream is that we actually have it at these events. So some of the events I could see doing at Vans retail. Some of the events I could see doing at skate parks or skate competitions. Some of the events, just like this tweet that M Shadows put out, we would do with artists that are a part of our community, and we'd piggyback on their tour. So Avenged Sevenfold, old school Warped artists, they actually tweeted pictures of them in the early days on Warped when they were in a van. Actually, they sold 20 million records since then. And what we want to do is prove that creating community that is powered by NFTs is possible. We may have to speak to it differently. We may have to execute differently, and so that's a part of the vision. The first, as I see it, the first phase of this prop is doing the series of events. The series of events will involve integrating the nouns into the events, so that whether it is OTG, we love them, they'll be at the events, whether it's NARS, and that's gnarly, esports, gaming was always huge in Warped. I sold all the gaming sponsorship for Warped from the beginning. Comics DAO, food nouns. I mean, there's a place for nouns in the Warped world, and to turning a lot of people onto nouns. So we'll figure out the formula for those events, and that will be the first thing that we do. We'll figure out whether or not we can bring in other Warp partners to these events and get them to help pay for these events. We'll figure out, I just had a conversation with Kevin Lyman, my partner in Warped, about us lighting up the Warp socials with millions of followers for this effort. Won't happen till we pass this, of course, but it's something that I pray for. And then we'll look at events in this first part of this. We'll look at events, whether it's Punk Rock Bowling, which is a big multi-day festival in Las Vegas, or the Museum of Punk Rock in Las Vegas doing events, or the Rock and Roll Museum that Warped has been inducted into. We'll look at a number of events that we can piggyback on and meet the audience where they are. We'll also have to figure out, sorry if I'm going fast, tell me if you want me to slow down.
No, this is great. Keep going.
We'll also look at what we do at these events to onboard people. And I just can't wait to try to figure that out. Do we work at trying to get wallets in people's hands? Do we get POEPs in people's hands? Do we get NARS in people's hands? How do we do that both at the events and virtually, so that people want to go to each event, keep coming to the events? I mean, I think that those are all really important things to do. And then we look at other projects that we can partner with. You guys know that I've been having a conversation that I'm really excited about with World of Women, about launching Warped World with a collaboration also with World of Women called Warped World of Women, and celebrating the badass, bold women of Warped, which is always really important to Warped. We've talked, we've been approached by Goblin Town about doing collabs. We've been approached by quite a few people about doing collabs. So if we can just get this passed, I think we'll be off to the races really fast, and we'll learn so much. And I think the world will stand up and pay attention to that nouns are doing this. So I can go deeper, of course, but I'd love to take some questions.
Yeah, sounds good. I noticed that you mentioned Emily had reached out to you before the show, and she actually joined us up here on stage. So maybe we can come to her in case she's got a time crunch, and she can say a couple words about what she likes about this prop.
Yeah. Hey, guys. Hey, JD.
Hey, Emily, welcome.
Everyone.
Hey, Emily.
Hi, it's good to be here. If some of you in the room don't know who I am, my name's Emily Lazar. I front the band September Morning. We were the first hard rock band to ever mint and sell an NFT on chain. I was the first female hard rock musician to ever mint and sell an NFT on chain. So I've been in the space for quite a long time. I'm a big advocate for independent musicians and independence in the space, because as we know, NFTs...
Very nounish.
Yeah, very, very much so. We know that NFTs empower independence. And the great thing about Warped Tour that, all of the things that you said, JD, about what you can do with, with the prop and everything is amazing. I mean, that's all very important and very amazing. But what I want to mention to everybody in the room is that Warped Tour, for me, growing up and going to it and being a part of that culture was a big flag for my independence. It taught me, it was very punk rock, it taught me about being independent at a very young age. Like I would go when I was very young with my friends, and we would just stay there all day. And it was like, we didn't have our parents around, and it was just, it was a community. It was a place to gather and celebrate music. And there were a lot of independent bands that were on Warped Tour that were on the smaller stages, but they gave them a voice, and they gave them a chance to perform. And I discovered some of my most favorite bands of all time through Warped Tour, actually. So there's something very much aligned with the ethos of the NFT space and Warped Tour, and it also spoke to a demographic that was very young, and I think that bringing it back would kind of reignite a demographic that is passionate about independence, about music in general, and about technology, because technology is so much a part of like all the younger generations now. So I think it's just a really positive and unified sort of prop for the NounsDAO. Like, it just makes sense to me. So I just wanted to kind of put that out there. I know you didn't really speak about that, JD, but as somebody who
You know what, Emily?
attended,
I want to bring you on all my spaces.
well, I'm
right.
You're
like,
hired.
I was I'm hired. I was a little late to the party with Warped Tour, so my band never got to play it. But but
you'll get it the next time around.
But you know what? If we do this, I'd love to be a part of it in any way possible, because I'm very, very, very passionate about what you guys brought to the culture. So thanks for having me speak.
Yeah. One question for you, Emily. Do you remember like all the causes that were out on Warped and the other things other than the music and the culture that you enjoyed as a part of Warped?
Yeah,
because I think those things are really important to building this world.
Yeah, like, God, there were so many causes that were brought to that shed a lot of light in that culture through Warped Tour. Yeah, of course, it wasn't just music. I mean, there was To Write Love on Our Arms was a big movement back in the day about suicide prevention, because there were a lot of like kids that were going through a lot of hard times, just as there are now, and that was an amazing movement that was basically came out of Warped Tour, I think, and especially that culture.
Did. That and keep abreast as well.
Yeah.
All of these things are in that video. I mean, Emily, I didn't ask Emily to look at that, so
yeah,
but
I didn't.
They're in a video that's part of the prop. So,
yeah, I mean, I'm only reciting them because, like I said to you, to everybody in the room, like I was a kid that went to Warped Tour, so like these are my experiences with the culture. Just as like us growing in this space, we're becoming a part of the culture, and we're pushing these things that we're passionate about through NFTs. Like there's a lot of amazing like mental health benefits through NFT PFP projects and things like that are happening. This was all done in Warped Tour, but pre Web3. It was Web2 version of what we're doing over here, with like surrounding a whole music culture and festival, and it was just incredible. If you never got a chance to go to Warped Tour, I'm so sorry, because it was absolutely amazing. But this is a way of reigniting that and bringing it to a whole generation that may have missed out, or the generation of their families that it would be super, super positive to bring to. So just wanted to put that out there.
Emily, thank you. That was wonderful and unexpected, and I'm really happy you joined us. I think the long-term vision is to both replicate what Warp did in real life, replicate that 3-ring circus of so much stuff to discover virtually as well. The future of Warped is not just doing big festivals. It's also doing small shows. It's sponsoring shows and having, one of the things about Nouns that got me so excited is that you saw geographic versions, geographic Nouns outposts. So whether it's Nouns Amigos, Nouns Japan, Nouns China, you see what's happening in Australia, in Brazil, and Warped has so many fans globally. You also see groups that go, whether it's food nouns, whether it's NARS, or that go into special interest. And when I saw that stuff, and this is no bullshit, when I learned about that stuff in Nouns, I started thinking LGBTQ Warped, Black Warped, women in Warped, Warped Brazil, Warped Japan, Warped Australia. I mean, all these things can happen. We can follow in the footsteps of what the Nouns have done. So, Noun 40 put out a tweet just a little while ago about Noun Inside, Intel Inside, iconic marketing campaign. Wonder if there's something similar to do for Nouns. This is what I'm talking about. taking all that goodness, empowering it for new communities. It truly is. Noun 40 I haven't spoken to. I'd love to. But this is what we're talking about.
He's a good one to speak to, not only because he's a great thinker, in my opinion, but he's also swanging 23 nouns. So for Zorax,
so
you may want to
the big question,
drop him a line.
Yeah, no, I have. I don't know. I think someone's going to have to connect us, please. But yes, I definitely want to talk to him, and I want to talk to anyone. I even want to talk to the people who, in the community who have doubted me and this approach. I really do, because I want to do this so badly, and I think we can do such great stuff together.
Awesome. Maybe I can come to Aptoshi if she's around, because I know that she's spoken to JD at length and collaborated a little bit with you, I believe, during Nouncella. So Aptoshi, do you have a minute to talk about that piece? Or are you AFK, Toshi? It seems she might be AFK, Toshi. We'll come back to her in a bit. Any questions from anyone on the stage about this prop for JD, about his history, any of the above?
Yeah, I've got one, Toady. I was just wondering, JD, if you could delve a bit deeper into when you mentioned you've got plans that include a warp DAO. I know it's probably in this.
No, I lost you for a sec.
Okay, yeah, I'll repeat my question. I was hoping you could sort of elaborate on the part of your prop when you speak about the warped DAO. I know it's probably in its infancy and maybe not something you've thought about massively, but it'd be super interesting to me anyway.
Oh no, thank you. I have thought about it massively, and I've spoken to Prof quite a bit about it, and I can't wait to get into it, because I think that it's going to actually cause us to have to think differently about how you create a DAO with an existing property. And I think we're going to have to think long and hard about governance and how we create a flavor of this DAO that actually works with a community like this and has some rails on it, so that it doesn't, so that it works with this. So I think we're also going to have to think about, how do you create a DAO around Warped that can actually serve not-for-profit causes and for profit, because my vision for the Warped DAO is we utilize the funding mechanism that the Nouns have done so well, and that it's been done in the sub DAOs and in Nouns Builder. By the way, I don't know if we fork Nouns or we work with Builder. I have no idea. I mean, but we're going to have to put a bunch of smart heads together in the community and figure that out. The thing that got me so excited, and people know this, I was going around the country showing my vision for Warped and Warped DAO, and I was using the Nouns as an example of DAO done right. And this was before I met the Nouns, and I was saying, look at this funding mechanism. Look at this framework for proposals. Look at how engaged the community is. Imagine if we do that in a community as focused as Warped, the kind of proposals that will come to that help that brings this explosion of creativity in terms of proposals to the community. Because I don't think until you do that, you really understand how much creative energy there is within your community. So I think that we have, and another thing, Cardno, that on this DAO that, actually Prof did a spaces with a lawyer from Florida, Elsie is her name. And I met with her at NFT NYC to say, I think that this is not easy. This is going to be hard. So many people have told me I'm crazy to do this, but here's the thing. They've told me I'm crazy with all my startups. So it's maybe a sign. But when I met with LC, I said, we have to design this DAO. Prof's got her hand up too. We've got to design this DAO so that when regulation comes, this DAO is flexible enough to evolve. And so the only way that can happen is if we bring a bunch of smart people together. And I think, that means bringing people from this community together. That means bringing people outside this community that are specialists in DAOs and really thinking about this.
Yeah, thanks for the response. And yeah, if you're already been speaking to Prof, then you're speaking to the right person. So I'll hand it over to Prof. She's got a hand up.
I just wanted to add, I pinned up a couple things, and one of them was the space that JD just referenced, and with Learn Chaos, Elsie who's an attorney who works a lot with DAOs, and she had some great, just great information and insights in general, so others may find that of interest. I also pinned up the park because I can see this being a good example or guide, or a good place to start best practices for WarpedWorld. And why I say that is they use Builder for the DAO structure, but they have their own very interesting website where they have minting of live streams that happen. They have built in some token gating message boards right in their website. You can actually, if they're doing a live session, if you're on their site and you're a token holder, you can like mess with their lights and stuff. It's all kinds of cool things, but there's all this, so I think looking at that as an example of a like music centered DAO, I think would be a good place to start when you're ready for that. But I think there's a way to maybe integrate Builder, but then also build your own community-based platform, so that you don't have to build the DAO tools, but you might want to do it a little bit differently for your needs.
Yeah, so, I don't imagine that we'll build the DAO tools. And that's why, it made so much sense to just come directly to this community. I mean, who's had more experience with the DAO than this community? And you, Prof, like I'm gonna hope that we can work so closely together when we get to the place of figuring out this DAO, because I think that it's going to create, it's going to cause us to think about a lot of challenges, and to me, that's very exciting. It's not scary. It just means that we need to do it right for our community, and I think that if we do that, I mean, first of all, I think that if this prop passes and we start doing these events, that will make a huge statement to not just the Web3 world, but the music world, the skating world and sports world, that huge community of fans. So that's why I felt so strongly about coming to the Nouns.
JD, what's up, man? I wanted to jump in and just say I love the prop, and I think you should dive into some more of your history, because I think Nouns as a DAO is very privileged to have someone like yourself even want to make a proposal and to come into the ecosystem and help out in a big way. And I think the value set of the current prop is very much focused on the warped things. But I would love to hear more about your history so everybody can kind of understand where you're coming from.
Thanks, Woody. So, I have a law degree, actually, and I practiced law for a heartbeat in LA. But then I went into the mailroom at Creative Artists Agency, and that's where Warped was created, in the mailroom. Just coming out of the mailroom, Daryl Eaton, who's the co-head of music at CA, is my partner and dear longtime friend. We were in the mailroom together, and he's now the co-head of music. So I just want to say that, Warped doing this, everyone at CA will be deeply involved, which will be so good for the Nouns. After that, I actually went into the startup world. My first startup, other than Warped, I think of Warped as my first startup. And my first venture funded startup was the first MP3 player, the Rio. And it was one of those things where everyone told me I was crazy. And I knew that, this was where everything was going. And so, that was really, really exciting, because we knew, I think this is a muscle that we built way back when, that if we could make things easy, and if we could give people a reason to use stuff, they would. And that was the challenge with the Rio. That was also the challenge with my startup in the video space, where, that startup was originally called Modern Feed. It sold to CBS as Clicker. And we said, it's too hard to find television shows and movies online. Duh. And we needed to make it easy wherever it was. And, it's still a problem today. People have said to me, why don't you go back to that problem? I said, no, we've been there. I've also, my podcasting platform, probably the platform I'm most proud of, the product I'm most proud of. I was too early. In 2013, I said podcasting is going to blow up. And we built a platform that Apple said was the best new app then, which was a podcasting platform. We did some really advanced things. We built music APIs into a podcasting platform so that if you were listening to something about Avenged Sevenfold, if there was a podcast talking about Avenged Sevenfold or talking about Emily, you could immediately listen to their music through those APIs. We added metadata to every piece of programming. We were really, really out there. I've also served as entrepreneur in residence, which is all about, I've done it a number of times. I did it for MTV, working for the amazing Judy McGrath, where she would tell me, could you go out and find us a certain digital music deal? Yes, I did. I did that for HP, which actually HP said, hey, will you help us with connected TVs? And that actually grew into Modern Feed and Clicker, working with HP. And then most recently, and this comes up in my prop, I was the only entrepreneur in residence at Warner Brothers at the studio. And that was all about looking for new opportunities. We actually started exploring NFTs in the DC universe at Warner Brothers. I also spent a lot of time working on the Wizarding World. And you see the Wizarding World show up in my prop. I just want to say this. I think there's a huge opportunity to not work with the Wizarding World, but to work with the Wizarding World fan community. Not JK. It's going to be too tough. They'll be too hard to get them to do anything. But the fan community is hungry, and they're committed, and they're passionate. So I think that would be a wonderful thing to do. My prop talks about Warped as first and foremost, but there's so much more. I mean, I really want to be that person out evangelizing for the nouns, out bringing new communities to the nouns. I've put a couple of ideas, one called musical nouns, another called dancing nouns. They were inspired by Gami. I just want to say this. Inspired by Gami, by Nars, and That's Gnarly, because when I saw the connection between the DAO or the sub-DAO and a site that could feature and shine a light on people in that community, it was just like, boom. And I said, I'd like to do this for Nounish Good for a couple of reasons. One, I think we can take that model and extend it. I think it's an amazing model, and it gives people a reason to lean into crypto or lean into the blockchain. But the other thing is that I really want to build my chops as a builder in the nouns universe, so that I can go on and ignite all kinds of communities. So there's aspirations in this prop that go far beyond WarpedWorld. Some people have even seen me talk about this. I mean, I want to build communities for dog lovers and horse lovers and cat lovers, but we'll start with Warped. Woody?
I think we've got Aptoshi back now. Let's see if Aptoshi is still uber rugged.
Nope.
Hello.
Hey.
Okay.
What's up? What's up?
Hi, everybody.
Coachella Toshi.
Oh my gosh. I'm sorry if I'm repeating anything that I didn't hear while I was rugged, but I just wanted to say thank you so much. Hearing about someone that has this career that you kind of have, and then even as someone, there's a bunch of entrepreneurs in this room right now, and I think even hearing that you were an entrepreneur in residence and you're that person looking where you can make these connections with these huge companies and with creators, having the eye for that and the ear for that and all of whatever that entails, is just super special, because it means that you're somebody that connects people together, and huge projects and groups make it in the world because they're believed in by maybe one person sometimes. And I can't imagine the amount of projects of people whose lives you've probably personally changed, even just through introductions to other people. So I just wanted to say thank you, because I feel like it is really inspiring. The fact that you want to bring that and this talent to nouns is a huge green flag for me about nouns, being in this really iconic moment right now, because if it got the attention of someone like you, I can't imagine what's going to be happening a year from now. I really, really hope that everybody sees this amazing potential and gives you this opportunity to show us what you got, basically, which I just cannot wait to see unfold. And just thank you for sharing your personal story with us. I feel like I could, you know, kind of listen to you for hours and just ask you questions and just like hear all of these stories. It's something I'm personally fascinated in, and like I just, you know, taking the time to share that with us, I feel like gives your whole prop and everything just that much more of this like oomph and this like gumption, because like now we know who you are and what you've been doing for all of these years, and it's really freaking cool that you want to do that with Nouns.
Thank you very much. You know, I'm going to repeat myself when I say this, that a group of builders in this spaces have been really generous to me. And it's a, you know, you don't remember, or maybe some of you do, but the first time you go through this process is, you know, it's a mad learning process. And I just hope that I have the opportunity to pay that forward and to help bring other people into the Nouns community. It's really what I want to do. So I think, you know, I know that some people would prefer that I had a different approach to this. Listen, we added a multi-sig with builders from across the Nouniverse. We added three different phases with corresponding payments for each. So I just view that there's so little downside and so much upside. And I'm hoping that the people on that multi-sig will say, hey, JD, you delivered far and above what you said you were going to. Hell yes. Hell yes, voting. Hell yes, we're going for this next one. And, you know,
can you talk?
Can
you talk to that? Because JD, after the first phase, you know, when the multi-sig that you have appointed is supposed to look back and say, what did JD do here? What do you think entails a success in that first phase for them to be like, unlock the next phase? This guy's killing it.
Yeah. So success in that first phase means bringing a super detailed proposal for these this first series, phase 1 of WarpedWorld events. It means bringing the partners, Vans, which is, you know, I've said this, it was on May 12th, it's now on May 11th, right after this prop hopefully passes, that we're sitting down with the CEO and the president of Vans. You know, some people have kind of been snide and saying, oh, he's got a meeting at Vans. No. It's much deeper than that. They're our partner for years. They spent millions and millions and millions of dollars in Warped. So it's not just a meeting at Vans, friends. And so we put something together that's super exciting. And in that process, though, of doing that, we've also already brought people new to the community throughout that. So we've also figured out how to integrate different Nouns groups into that first phase. And so we put that together. We've put a prop in front of the community that everyone is excited about, and then we can get past. And we've already taken steps to bring other people to the community. So the first phase is very much focused on like knocking first phase of Warped out of the park with the Nouns. Second phase, I view right now, is about bringing other people into this and starting to work on WarpedDAO. So that is very much about me saying, okay, should we do this dancing Nouns? Is it interesting? It's a collaboration with like amazing people in the dance world. And it can also involve amateur and professional dancers around the globe. Should we do that, or should we go for musical Nouns? Musical Nouns, I reference this, and you know what? We may come up with other ideas during this process. Once you sit down with people and explain to them what the Nouns have done, I mean, in my experience, they get super excited, and then they say, let's come up with more ideas. So in the second phase, I think we start exploring those, and we start working on the DAO. And I think that the DAO is going to be something that's going to take a lot of thinking. Third phase, we're executing. There's events happening. We're executing on them. Maybe one of those Nounish projects has launched. And in the third phase, we're also looking at, hopefully, you know, I don't know if that's too fast to get a DAO together, but we'll know how those events are working. We need to fine tune them. We need each one of those events to actually produce tangible results that people can say, oh, we got 400 wallets in people's hands. We got people, NARS is jumping because we've turned people in the Warped community on. We got to start thinking about tools then and tool set. Long-term vision of Warped is super, super ambitious, and it's a multi-year project for sure. We'll also have to start thinking about how we fund it. So another thing we'll have to start thinking about is, how do we return value to Nouns? I mean, I'm serious about that. We have to think about that at every step of the way. I don't expect the Nouns to just do this simply to support Warped, because Warped is a project that aims to do a lot of good, but it's a for-profit project.
Awesome. Thanks for the context there, JD. Anyone else here on stage?
Sure.
I noticed English came up, and he may have a question for JD. English, go ahead. I don't know if people are like really rugged on today's space, but we seem.
No.
I know
I'm here. So I wasn't there. No, I didn't have a specific question, but I did see JD was up, so I just wanted to join in case there was something
Thank you,
I wanted to
English.
touch upon. Yeah, just saying what's going on to one of our close people on the show, the Little Noun Show, and I've heard you talk a few times. So I just kind of wanted to hear, where you were at with the whole Warped Tour Nouns kind of stuff. How you doing, buddy?
I'll say I'm doing great. I mean, I'm happy. I've got some work to do in the Little Noun community. I did go into Little Noun's Discord before I came on here to just show the power of Warped with this Matt Sanders tweet about what we're doing. It's now in the first hour and it's hit 400 likes. Someone's learning about the Nouns in that in the first hour, 400 likes. So I know the number of followers that just this tweet has brought to me means that people are going to learn about Web3. So I think that's the power of Warped. It's one little example. And I really want our friends in Little Nouns, which is where I came into the Nouns community, to understand that, because I need their support and I want their support.
Yeah, I remember the first day that we got a chance to chat and how excited I was. So glad to see that you keep progressing, and yeah.
Yeah, I would imagine going back to that I was a little clueless. And that I've gotten a whole lot of learnings, gotten in a whole lot of learning since then. But I'm always learning, and so
that's our secret. We're all a little clueless.
Yeah. Well, I like to admit know the things that you're clueless about and learn as much as you can. So it's one of the things that really turned me on to Web3, to be honest, because I actually kicked a Web2 startup to the curb and said, I'm going all in on Web3. This is the right thing to do. This is the future of community. And if we can do it with our community, we can do it over and over and over again. I'd love to take any other questions. There's a bunch of people in this space.
So you just touched on something there that made me think of a question. Why do you think that Web3 is the future for communities? You could just as easily get together with some of your old partners and launch Warped as a music festival. There are music festivals still that do quite well today. Why not just that? Why is the Web3 component important to you in terms of community building?
Well, first of all, Warped, I can't talk about things we haven't announced, but there's a future for Warped shows. And the future for those shows is big shows and small shows and collabs with artists and many things. And so if you're going to do those things, you want to have a community that's engaged both in real life and virtually. If we can make it so that community, and, many years ago in the early days of Warped, I'd sit there and look at the crowds at Warped. And I would say, it's so funny because these guys, the athletes, the artists, the fans, they take such ownership in it, but we own it. They don't own it. We do. And that seemed kind of futile to me, in terms of, in terms of us running it and them loving it.
Interestingly, that's not a problem that's unique to Web 2 either, because I think about that a lot, even in Web3, with a lot of NFT projects where people think that they have an ownership stake in the project. We won't mention any names, but that then like a VC round happens, and you find out very quickly that you're not the owners, you're the consumers of these projects. So it that's specific to DAOs where you do have a governance say and a sort of a claim on the treasury, etc.
Well, so early on in this process, I went to Daryl and my partners at CAA and Kevin Lyman. I sat them down and I said, that what I'm proposing for Warped is radical. What I'm proposing is that WarpedWorld, which will be almost like an umbrella, it will be the best loyalty program you could ever imagine, but one that's owned by the community. That WarpedWorld, that we introduce community ownership by the participants and the fans and people who love it. And how exactly we do that, we're going to have to figure out. But I was afraid that they were going to say, "You're fucking crazy, JD. We're not going to do it." And you know what they said? To their benefit. I mean, because they're not super competent in Web3. They said, "Yeah, we know that. And we think that this is the right place to do it. We've been waiting for someone to try to do this." So if we succeed, which I very much plan on succeeding, despite any bumps in the road, which I also know will happen, if we succeed, they'll take credit for it, and that's just fine. And if we fail, all the arrows will come at me, and that's also just fine. So Tody, I don't know if I
sorry, I was muted.
I answered your question.
Yeah, I was muted. Sorry, I was calling on Emily. Actually, Emily has put her hand up, so she may want to say something.
Yeah.
I just wanted to ask a question. I mean, you spoke so much about like these huge conglomerates that you can bring in, like CAA and a bunch of those in Vans, and which is amazing. It's amazing to bring those Web2 companies in. But I think the ethos over here, like especially in the music side of it, revolves a lot around independent artists and independent musicians.
Yeah.
And a lot of these artists, myself included, have been burned by labels, or like we've been through multiple deals and it just never worked out for one reason or another, usually because of just bad timing or whatever, but it never really favored the artist. We've always had to kind of cower to that. So my question to you is how are you going to prevent this becoming, this does pass, this just becoming another way to integrate the major labels into Web3 seamlessly and take over what we've been building so efficiently over here as independent musicians and independent artists?
Yeah, I love that question because I got to tell you something. People early on were saying, "Why don't you take major label money for WarpedWorld?" And I was like, "No way, we're not going to do that. It would tank this project and what we aspire to do from the very beginning." So here's what I have to say. The things that you're doing with sound.xyz, I love. And I think of Warped as being a place where we wrangle a community, and so that independent artists get exposed to, more people discover independent artists because we built a place for them. I could see, in addition to Nouns, I could see sound.xyz having a stage. I've mentioned this to Cooper Turley, having a stage at Warped, at shows. I could see them having a stage virtually. And one of the things for independent artists that I think is so hard is wrangling a huge community. I watch even my friends in Avenged Sevenfold try to do this with their Death Badge Club, bring their community all together. And they've done an amazing job. But I started thinking, how much more powerful does that become if it's 100, if it's 1,000, if it's many artists? It means that fans can go there and discover artists that they want, that where they don't have a place to do that today, or they don't have many places. Warped was a place, you said it yourself, where you discovered artists. So I really want to make it so that the virtual Warped World becomes that place, and that we make sure that there's a sound.xyz stage in the virtual Warped World, and we do shows with them, and we support independent artists, because that's always been core to Warped. The thing about Warped that is I think many people found ironic is Warped was able to embrace all those brands and yet stay core to its ethos. I mean, that was the only way Warped could do it, actually, and keep the ticket price low, was by embracing corporate sponsors. And you know, it was my job early on to go sell those and bring in those corporate sponsors. So instead of trying to like do it in a Coachella sort of way, we did it a much more natural way, and it worked. And no one ever complained about it, really, because it made it work. So you should know that your independent spirit is alive and well in my thinking from the very beginning of this.
Thank you.
Very cool. Symbio, you've got a question as well?
Welcome.
Yeah, JD, I was in an early room when you discovered nouns, and it was a NARS jam session. And
yeah, that was
I love how far things have come. I wonder if you can just speak to your experience with scale and to doing things on a very tight schedule, because that might be underestimated when you're speaking to your excitement around the global nature of adding this or having a collaboration.
Well, first of all, you know, as an entrepreneur, I've always had to temper my enthusiasm with the amount of time it takes to build things. So I have a pretty good, you know, I've had a lot of experience in that, in launching things. I think in this one, we have some particularly big challenges, and that is, how do we translate this to a community that is not Web3 native? I think those are good challenges to have. I think they're going to be hard, and I think we're going to use data to try to figure out how to get it right. And I think also that, you know, NARS is a good example. When I saw NARS, it just like, it clicked for me. And I think we can use that a lot. And I think I think there's a huge halo effect for NARS. And I think there's and I think it's helpful to Warp, because then Warp can immediately see, oh, this is why I need Web3. This is why I need, whether we call it crypto, whether we call them NFTs, they're powered by the blockchain. We may have to figure out a different language for some of this. So I think that it will take an effort that will, you know, we'll move fast. We'll break some things, but we're also going to take enough time to think about it. We may use, you know, a lot. I see this a lot in Web3. That in Web2 we did a lot of usability testing, and in Web3 I see people who are crypto natives who don't need you know, to go through that. Many of them don't remember the first time they did these things. And you know, I referenced earlier a CoinDesk article just from today about the software challenges of bringing new people to Web3. We're gonna have to think about those long and hard. And we're gonna think about how to make this, you know, as easy as we can. Now, we'll have to iterate on that for sure. Where we start is not where we finish, that is for sure. So we may have to keep it really simple in the beginning, but we're gonna learn fast. I hope that answered your question.
Does that answer your question, Symbio?
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, JD, it's been super fun chatting with you today. It always is.
Thanks.
It always feels like, even though I think like I've been through this entire proposal a few times already, I always learn something new.
Yeah, Tony.
I appreciate that. Appreciate you sharing your history and your experience and your passion with us.
Yeah, I would just say that if anyone, feel free to reach out to me directly. If you have challenges with this prop, if you have suggestions, and tell your friends. Spread the word. We need it. We need your support.
Awesome. Sounds good, JD. Best of luck in the voting.
Thank you very much,
in the voting round. If I'm not mistaken, the voting starts for this in 2 days. Is that correct? Let's see here.
I think it's 3 days. I think it's 3 days.
3 days. 2 days now. 2 days. Yeah.
Oh, really? So 2 days.
I mean, it's not always accurate. Right? It starts on the 29th, whatever that is. So yeah, 2 days from now. Yep. So you got a couple days left here before it's off to the races, and we'll be cheering you on.
I got a question for you guys. What should I be doing in the next 2 days?
Moisturizing and drinking a lot of water.
Hitting up Noun 40.
Drinking a lot of water.
Yeah, exactly.
And Jack Daniels.
Being in all the Discords and as many nounish things as you can, but also observing your mental health closely and making sure that you're okay personally, because it's rough.
Yeah, I will say from my experience, championing proposal is one of the most important things. Is you really do have to be, just put yourself up there and allow yourself to be questioned. Whether the questions are always fair or whether they're informed, it doesn't really matter, because you are the one asking for funds from the DAO, and so like what he said, like,
that's right.
Respect yourself and respect your mental health, but just try to give as many answers to as many people as you can in the short.
English's hand is raised, by the way.
Yeah, go ahead, English.
Well, it was a question for you, Tody. When did this thing moisturize become a thing? Like, it's only been on my radar for like the last 2 months, and I think it's like from the kids or something, So I just I was kind of surprised to hear you say it. So when did this become part of Web3 culture? That
first of all, I'd like to tell you I am actually very hip and with it, so I'm surprised that you're surprised. But second of all, it's actually
were you the model for like the noun meme that it's like, hey, what's up, kids, or what's up, fellow kids, or fellow friends?
Yep, that's me.
That's right.
But no, actually, I don't think it's not a new meme at all. It's like a super old meme that checks out, basically. So it's just this old, like.
Can you answer the moisturizing question, please, sir?
Wait, is this a professional hearing?
Yeah, I was like,
English. The issue is, see, when you live in Florida, we don't get that dry skin. Those Canadians, majorly dry skin. There you go.
Is this moisturizing? Is this moisturizing meme one of the kids' memes? Yes or no?
It's one of those kids' memes.
Hey, Tody.
That's from 2020.
The other day when somebody commented, "You look like somebody whose back hurts." I thought that was hilarious, by the way. And I have to run.
Rick.
Wait, before we end this, I just want to do one thing. I want to shout out to Creatress, who I met at the Nouns NFT NYC party, who's an amazing artist and has popped up in this space. And just a shout out to you. After meeting you at that party, I spent some time looking at your art, and you do amazing things. So thank you for joining us. I see that you popped in here. And the power of nouns. I went to, I met her at the Nouns event in New York.
Awesome. Going back to your question for a quick second, English, I think Ben Body is usually the best person to go to for Know Your Meme information. So I'll call on him.
Yeah, that was actually from like 2019, mid 2019, and then YouTube blew it up. It was originally just some chick's tweet, and then someone posted it to Reddit, and then someone on YouTube did a voiceover, and they put like a pond guy, like a Buddha-looking guy sitting in a pond using the same, like, it was a whole sentence, like, moisturize, staying in my lane, something like that.
The funny part about that whole story is when you said when it's actually from 2019, meaning like implying that it's like still like it's relatively old, but like 2019, I'm so old that like that's still like a couple days ago for me. So that's the sad part about it.
In meme days, that's very old. By the way, this has been Time for Ben Explains Memes Badly.
Yeah, I finally got to do another one.
That was the only reason he called on you, so he could play that now.
Nice setup. Nice setup.
Set him up, knock him down.
You didn't have to call me out like that. Jeez.
No, I love the bad memes. We need to continue the bad memes.
But that was an excellent answer, and I appreciate being informed and educated on this space. You guys are legends.
For sure, you are.
English, spend a little bit of time on the Tiki-Talkie, and then you'll understand what the kids are laughing about.
So I refuse to download that app. I'm way too old for it. I won't even touch it. And in fact, when there's speculation that it's going to be banned, I root for it. So I was the general manager of a restaurant, and all my little like 17-year-old hostesses were on the Tiki-Talkie, and I have to like smack their phone away. So
you sound like someone, as I've heard someone say before, you sound like someone whose back hurts.
100%, that's me. When I heard that, I was like, that's 100% me, dude.
Age ain't nothing but a number. I'm sure JD's on the Tiki-Talkie. He seems like he's
not much. I lurk a little bit here and there, but not so much. Hey, thanks.
It's a little creepy, actually. My wife and I were at the children's hospital here yesterday, to get our little one checked out after he had a bit of a reaction to his shots. And as we got home, sat down and relaxed, I opened TikTok, and the very first ad that came up was a donation drive for the children's hospital that we just left. I'm like, wait a minute, this is a little on the nose, but
they're tracking you.
Pretty good targeted advertising, to be honest. It's like activating that parental guilt. Anyways, all right. Thank you so much, JD. Appreciate.
Thank you guys for having me, and
of course,
thanks so much to TNS. And we're hitting 450 likes in the last hour on this tweet about the nouns. 43 retweets. So someone's going to be learning about the nouns through that, and that is the power of Warped.
Awesome. I pinned it above the space too, so people can scroll back and have a look. Maybe give it a couple extra retweets at the same time.
I did too.
Excellent.
Times.
Should I pin it again? Battle of the pins.
Sure, just keep pinning.
Speaking of battling, I wanted to mention this because it's kind of a funny story. So there's a new prop that went up this morning from Wilson Cusack. It's kind of a cool one. It's sort of a public goods prop that proposes to mint 5,000 of the Shield NFT that Coinbase put out in collaboration with Zora. It's this I Stand With Crypto, and all of the proceeds. It's a free mint, but there's a $1 Zora fee, and all of the Zora fee is going directly to a Gitcoin round, which is going to fund crypto advocacy, 5 different crypto advocacy groups. So really good cause, obviously, defending the rights of people to have their own crypto and not be messed with by the federal government and Mr. Gensler. So this is the prop anyhow, and the idea was to max mint 5,000 because at that time 1,000 was the top of the leaderboard. So we thought, hey, we'll max mint 5,000 and then do a donation of 100 grand on top of that directly to Gitcoin, which would basically double the size of the round. So pretty cool. However, as soon as the prop went up, like an hour later, Brian Armstrong from Coinbase minted 7,999. So, as I said to Wilson Cusack, we got Constitution dowed, as it were. The problem of having to put all your cards on the table and put them on the public blockchain in order to be decided. But anyway, regardless of whether we end up, regardless of whether we end up on top of the leaderboard, which we won't now, we'll definitely make a pretty sizable impact with that donation. So I'm for that one. I think it's cool. By the way, I see Web3 Beach down there giving us some emojis. Nice to see you. Can't wait to chat with you tomorrow. We had a little bit of technical difficulties the first time we wanted to have him on. Didn't get a chance to really dig in and hear his story. So excited for tomorrow. Make sure you join us back here for 9 o'clock live tomorrow, which will be just before 4 p.m. EST. So it'll be right after the Nounish Prof Werder gets done with her builder box, and myself for that matter. So make sure you join us. Put it in your calendar for tomorrow. A couple things that we just need to do here before we close off for the day. Of course, we've got a POAP to give away. Ben Body, are you able to do that? RFG is not here, so hoping you can wrangle that for us.
Yeah, just give me a minute. I'll go grab the details.
All right. In the meantime, we've got a lucky Nomo to do and a retweet picker to do. So if I can get a drum roll, I can tell you who the lucky Nomo is. Wow! I feel like we need Owen Wilson version of that. Wow! Wow! You won! All right.
Wow! Perfect. We really should have that.
Yeah. Have you seen that video where it's just an entire video stream of him and he's just saying "wow" over and over again? Wow! Oh my God! How'd you do that? How'd you find that so quickly? That's scary. All right. The winner of the Lucky Nomo Minter of the Day is No Fun Token Art. No Fun Token Art.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
Do you know amazing.
Them? I just gave her a Nomo because she played the bowling game, and it's now her PFP. She just
oh my God! So this
PFP.
is, if I'm not mistaken, the second day in a row that Prof Werder has given someone a Nomo and they've won the Lucky Nomo of the day.
It's crazy. Like every time I give something away, it wins something. So somebody wanted one of my forgeries, and I'm like, after the draw, not before.
Yeah, by the way,
you will definitely win.
I never got a chance to thank you for that. Thank you for forgeries number 401.
You're so welcome.
I appreciate it. Her 41, rather.
Wow.
Wow. All right. Congratulations to No Fun Token Art. You are going to see a Nounish edition pop up in your wallet. Ben Body, what do you want to give him today? We'll give you free reign to choose.
Let's give him one of the like the noun checks, the little nouns checks editions.
Okay. All right. Nouns made out of checks. Best of both worlds. Sounds good. Coming your way. No Fun.
Sounds like a great
Token Art.
cereal. Sounds like a great breakfast cereal.
It sounds like a very noun checks, part of a balanced diet. If you have not yet minted your Nomo for today, get your cherries out and go mint that Nomo at nounclock.live. You can either go to nounclock.live now, or you can go to nomo.wtf. Whatever suits your fancy, you'll end up in the same place, and you will be able to mint Nomo Noun 692 for 0.0069 ETH and put yourself into tomorrow's draw for a Nounish NFT. If you have the co-op, go out. JD is in the draw for tomorrow, and he has pretty good odds. He could win. By the way, if you win the Lucky Nomo draw, your Nouns proposal is automatically accepted.
I better buy some more of those Nomos.
Right, that's now. A feature.
Which is why I never win, and I always
not
give
financial advice. English, do you have another question about Gen Z memes?
No, I have a question. Not regarding that, but regarding something else. You just had mentioned, giving away some stuff, and Cardno during like that whole check, we made like this. He made a rug project basically, and I have like a bunch of these. What is it? This noun is notable, based off of the noun that's held there, and I just want to see if I can donate those to the TNS wallet to give away.
Send them to the burn address.
Did you just call it a rug project?
No roadmap, no promises. just art.
Just comes out shots firing like.
Well, he promised immaculate vibes, and I didn't even get that.
This is what happens in Lil Non or private, by the way. You guys should jump in there.
Cardno, did you have anything? Cardno, is there anything you want to say in response?
You're ugly. You are disgusting. I'm going to kill you. Give me $200.
That's fair.
That'll do.
I would have said the same thing.
200 is cheap with inflation. Yeah,
that's right.
I just wanted to say that you've completely ruined every Owen Wilson movie for me now, because I didn't understand how many times he said "wow" in his movies. And so now I'm just going to pay attention to that. I looked it up on the sound effect board, and there's literally 10 different wows that he says. Oh, wow.
I'll blow your mind even further. Look on YouTube, and there's a supercut of every time Owen Wilson says wow in a movie, and it's like a 5-minute long clip.
It's the best.
It's a good clip.
Oh, my God. You just ruined it for me. Completely ruined it.
You've got to go right down the rabbit hole, watch that whole supercut, and get it out of your system so you can watch these movies again.
If I remember correctly, there's even one of the supercuts that has a random Luke Wilson right in the middle, and it really throws you for a loop. His normal looking brother, who just looks vaguely Owenish, but with a normal nose. Sorry, Owen. And he just sort of says "wow" in the middle, and it's a nice little break, from the Owen.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that. I appreciate it.
I'm a connoisseur. What can I say? All right, we've got our lucky. We've got our retweet picker. Never say that. Zoolander's a classic. You can always watch it. All right. We've got a retweet picker winner of the day. Can I get a drum roll, please? Or a drum wow. A drum wow. Wow. Drum wow, please. It is Brian, Cryptoversical. I don't know what that means, but I kind of like it. It's a nice word. Cryptoversical, functional glass, viticulture, and NFTs. Okay. I also don't know what that means, but it's pretty cool. It sounds like blown glass that is also an NFT. I don't know if that's what it is.
As you said that, right when you said, when you said okay, I said okay. I'm like, okay. The same voice. Like, yeah, okay, that's interesting. Right. I have to check that out.
A cryptoversicle sounds delicious though. It sounds like a popsicle I don't know, that looks like a noun, maybe like a noun popsicle. Could be. We don't know, but congratulations, Brian. You have won 0.069 ETH just for retweeting the room. We appreciate it. It helps us get the word out about the daily spaces. So without further ado, I'm going to go over to Ben here. He's going to give you a free NFT just for showing up here today. It's called a POAP. Take it away, Ben. No, I don't mean take away the POAP, give it away, but take it away.
Also, just want to answer English's question. You can donate any editions or any NFTs to. We actually just created a new wallet, but the ENS hasn't gone through yet. But it'll be at prizes.nomonouns.eth once it's all
say
delegated.
No more. Let me go to my computer right now.
It's actually not on that address yet though, because there's a pending transaction to set it as the as the primary resolver. So once that's finished resolving, because we've had prizes in the TNS wallet, in the Nomo wallet, and they're kind of all over the place, and we're consolidating all of the NFTs into one prizes wallet. But I'll drop it in the Discord for you so you know where it is. And then,
I mean, this is Cardno's first project, so there's like a lot of provenance, and like I think some Cardno fans in the audience would really enjoy them.
Yeah, I can't guarantee I'm not going to slip you my own address for this one. But...
I would have just let him send it to that address that's not registered yet. Bye bye.
It actually will just end up in our main wallet again. I'll have to do another consolidation transaction.
There's no getting away. There's no getting away from it.
For those sneaky buggers who have been burning bonies, I see Mr. Boney down there. I know he's quite concerned about it. He tries to keep his collection at a tidy 666, and people keep burning bonies. So, I mean, if that keeps happening, you guys should be sending them to the Nomo wallet at least, so we can find a new home. Don't just throw your bonies out the car window.
Well, if they're getting burnt, doesn't that mean that there's a chance I might get a 1-1? If there's more burns, then Mr. Boney can actually make customs for us.
That's right. So if you have a bony that you don't like, which first of all, I mean, what's wrong with you? But second of all, if you can't care for your bony, that's okay. Bring it to Nomo. We will take care of it and find a loving home. We are going to rehome all bonies. This is Nomo Rehome Bonies, the new platform from TNS.
Feel free to send them directly to me as well. I will.
Nomo Boney.
You should be
Nomo.
Making that
Nomo Bony Homos. No, wait.
If you don't burn your bonies, put them in the shower.
Look, if you can't take care of your bonies, if they catch on fire, put them in the shower. We'll take them for you.
My God. So who said yesterday, I hope I didn't get your spaces off the rails? I think that was Ash. And I was like, that's our secret. There's no rails. And we are proving that today. We are completely off the rails here. I appreciate everyone's time, though. It's always fun.
Right. Let's do the POAP before we go all the way over the ledge.
Let's do it.
All right. So we give away a POAP every day. It's a free token that we get in our POAP wallets, which is an app you can download from poap.xyz. It's completely free to mint. Just add your email or ETH address and throw in a secret word. So when you've got the app there, you can just hit mint and then secret word. And today's secret word is know your meme. All one word, all lowercase. Know your meme. And good luck with the capture. You've got to play a little game.
And done.
Nice, that was fast.
That's because I haven't updated my POAP app, and I will not.
Still? That's crazy.
No, I will not, because then I don't have to play the game.
That's amazing. I got killed because I've got mine on auto update, and I'm like, oh, that's done.
Yeah, see,
same here.
And I did pin up the wows up top for Woody, so the link is up there in the nest, and I got to run.
Wow. All right. With that, we will close. Thanks, JD. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Thanks, Emily.
Thank you, guys.
For jumping up. Emily, maybe we'll have to have you up as a guest on another day so we can dig in and hear more about what you're doing, because it sounds really interesting.
I would thoroughly enjoy that, guys. Thank you so much.
Slide in the DMs. Actually, Symbiotech, maybe you can reach out to Emily and or Cardno and see if we can get her booked in for a date. Let's do it. I've also found us the perfect song to play us out today. There couldn't be another one.
Come on.
Thanks for joining.
Tony, I did something. I made a Owen Wilson wow horn.
Wait, sorry, what?
I made an Owen Wilson wow horn. Somebody stop me over here, please. All right, end the space.
That's amazing.
Please add to the regular one we use every day. Thank you. Speaking of the tiki-taki, we got the Capybara song, dance remix. This is what you're missing out on, English.
I think I'm okay.